Hey guys, how you doing? So during my lunch today, I'm starting spaghetti sauce. Over here in my crock pot, I already have a pound of ground beef and a pound of Italian sausage that's been browned up. In here we have a cup of red wine that I use just to deglaze the pan so I could get all those good little bits out of the bottom of it and throw it in there. We have a whole can of black olives and a large yellow onion that's been chopped up that we're dumping in there. I guess getting this cutting board to get a little closer. I love these thin, flexible cutting boards because it makes it really easy to just drop whatever you just chopped into the pot. The next thing we've got is 2 cans, the big cans, of either petite diced or crushed or stewed tomatoes. Usually I use either the petite diced or the crushed, but I know my stepmom always used the stewed ones when I was growing up. And then I put in one of these small cans of tomato paste. I love these little tiny scrapers that are basically like a long knife, because then you can get the tomato paste out of that bottom corner pretty easily. Now, at this time, there's still not enough liquid in here. So I usually take one of these cans from the tomato sauce and fill it up all the way. To be perfectly honest, I usually do half a can in one of them and check to see where we're at, because that way I'm rinsing it for, I don't know why I'm using this skinny little scraper. It's really not big enough for this job. Let's switch over to this wooden spoon we used for the meat. But I kind of do that half of a can first, see how we're at, kind of get that tomato paste worked in there and kind of mixed around. If I feel like it's still a little bit, a little dry, I might need a little moisture, I'll put in another half a can. And I kind of use that time to rinse out my cans for the recycle bin while I'm at it. In this case, maybe not quite another half a can, a little bit more though. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. And then we have about a teaspoon of thyme, 2 bay leaves, about 2 teaspoons each of oregano, basil, and parsley. And then I use chopped garlic most of the time. I guess I should open that first. And I'm liberal with the garlic, so I usually do at least a couple of teaspoons of garlic also. Now, if you really wanted to, you could saute the onions and the garlic first before putting them in. This is going to slow cook for a couple hours, though, so I really don't care about that. They're going to cook plenty in that time. And then I use sambal chili paste a lot of times for my, instead of crushed red peppers, because I just like that, how easy it mixes in. And I put about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons in there. Depends on whether or not you like spicy spaghetti. If you don't want it spicy, you can leave out the crushed red pepper completely if you wanted to. You could also use the hot Italian sausage or sweet Italian sausage. I usually use sweet Italian sausage because I know I'm putting in that crushed red pepper along with everything else. And then I'm just going to turn on this crock pot and let it cook for the second half of my workday. There are some benefits to working at home for sure, right? Normally I would have to start this before work and let it sit on low all day long, but it doesn't really need the whole day. It really only needs about 2 or 3 hours on low. So starting it at lunch, it'll be perfect by the time I get off work, and I will come back and record some more then. Well, it's after work now, so this sauce has been simmering on low for about 3 hours. And I went to check it just to see, like, how is it doing? Do I need to turn it up? It's still a little on the watery side. You can see here the onions. Woo, that really kind of poured right out of there. The onions don't look very cooked. Wow, they're really that's just not cooperating with me. But it's really kind of watery. So Kevin won't be home for at least another hour, maybe more like an hour and a half. So I just turned this up to high, and I'm going to let it just simmer a little longer, and hopefully it'll thicken up some. All else fails, you can always put it on the stove. I think next time, though, I would maybe put it on high when I'm cooking it only from lunch until the end of the day. Normally, I would have prepped this all in the morning and gone to work. But with all of the COVID-19 stuff going on right now, work is literally down the hall. And I didn't start it until lunchtime. So I guess you learn a little bit when you're not used to cooking it for a shorter amount of time to put it on a higher temperature. So I'll have to check back on it and see how that goes. Well, guys, it's ready. We've got our pasta here. We've got our sauce all done. The one thing you got to always remember, though, take out the bay leaves. These are not edible. They're not in that form at any rate. You don't want to leave them in your sauce. Now, are you guys the mix the sauce and the noodles together type? Or are you the put the noodles on the plate and then add sauce later? I'm kind of both. What I usually do is I take at least a couple of ladlefuls of the sauce and dump it into the pasta and just kind of get that pasta going. It kind of helps with it not sticking as well when you throw some of that sauce in there. But I also usually leave some of it in the pan over here to dump it on top. So you get a little extra sometimes in there. But any of my friends and family that eat my cooking all the time, this is always one of the requested meals. And honestly, spaghetti is one of Kevin's absolute favorites. So I'm sure when he gets home tonight, he'll be very excited to be greeted with this.